Hi guys, how are you doing? Oh boy, these last few days have been fun. I'll tell you the story at the end if you want to hear it. I'm not gonna gunk it up with the beginning, but yeah, I think it's best if I just do kind of a chill video, nothing too intensive. I mean, we found out some pretty crazy information this last week. There was a page of an article that was leaked. I think it was a page in the One Piece magazine that hinted at Shanks's bounty. Don't get too excited. It doesn't give us like an exact number, but Joyboy made a video earlier today. Go check that out. Also, while I'm on the subject of that, tomorrow we're doing the fifth Reverie stream over on Joyboy's channel. V for five. Like you ever watch we ever watch Super Sentai, Go Go 5, which is the version of Lightspeed Rescue, or rather Lightspeed Rescue is a version of Go Go 5. Okay, I'm getting off the rails here, but Reverie stream tomorrow, Joy Boy's channel. This is every English release tankobon of One Piece that is just covering my bed. Like, I can't even, like, if I laid these all out perfectly, like, I could literally be just sitting on a bed of One Piece. And this isn't even all of them. I have stacks here, and then another huge stack here. Like, you can see, this is ridiculous. This is 88 volumes, I think, in total right now. A volume 89 is going to be released soon, I think at the beginning of February. That's the one with Luffy and Katakuri. So I just wanted to make a video talking about the volume covers just in general, and then going through some of my selection as just not talking about the volume itself, like what the chapters are in there, but just the volume covers like themselves, like what are my favorites, okay? Because if you've been a fan of, well, not just manga, but also like comic books as well, I don't have a lot of comic books. Hold on, let me just go over here and grab these really quick. Yeah, the only comic book I really own is Green Lantern. So, of course, the covers of comics or manga are going to be very important. So I have, Green Lantern here, and then, Brightest Day, Blackest Night. It seems like one of the good things you can do, like just to make a really epic cover, is just take all the main characters from that particular series or whatever and just throw them on the cover and just make them look really badass. Okay, that's a good thing. I have some issues of The Walking Dead down there, too, that do the same basic thing. So, that old saying, don't judge a book by its cover. Of course, it's meant figuratively, don't judge people based on how they look. But when you apply that to a regular book, like a novel, like I remember back in high school, I read a copy of 1984, but it was like a really shitty copy of 1984, and the cover was like all worn, you could barely make it out, but, inside it was actually a really good book, right? But that's just text. These are comics, all right? So the cover is something that's super, super integral, and, mangakas have different styles of how they do this. I have a few, volumes of Bleach here, and the way that Kubo decides to go about it is he takes a more minimalistic approach to it, as opposed to One Piece. Like I have just a random one here. Like this is One Piece Volume 84. So you got, Luffy and Sanji there in the background looming overhead, and then you got the Vinsmoke family in front of him. Kind of a lot of stuff going on here. Compare that to a Kubo volume, and they're not better or worse. It's just a different style. I think the Bleach volumes look really cool. Just like one character each. There's Nemu. She's kawaii and sexy. What's the combination of kawaii and sexy? Someone needs to let me know about that. But anyway, yeah. And, the mangakas themselves, they have to draw each of the covers as well. So, on top of like, all right, Oda Sensei, you just finished doing chapter after chapter of One Piece, you also need to draw a cover. So I can understand like someone like Kubo, like, let's keep it minimal. I'll just draw one character and you could just put on the cover. And it makes sense for Bleach because the title is Bleach, so, most of the background is going to be white. So that just makes sense from that series. But Oda really goes overboard with this, and he really has ever since the beginning. I would not classify any of Oda's covers as minimalistic. Like, he only puts just one character on the title. I mean, there's a few that only have like maybe two characters on them. I can actually only think of one off the top of my head that has that, and it's actually one of my favorites because it kind of stands out. But there's certainly not just like a cover that's a pure white background and then just Luffy there. Oda really does go crazy. So I want to show you a few of my favorites here, and you can tell me which ones are your favorites below. So this is the first volume of One Piece. I had to include that there. Now, something I noticed just now while going through all of these. In the early volumes of One Piece, Oda does this square kind of like a border, like a picture frame kind of thing, and he puts the picture in there, right? And this continues for like 40-something chapters until we get to another one. Because if you compare that to, this is volume 54, Impel Down, you see the characters begin to, the border is still there, but, you know, the characters all start popping out, and then you have the chains there. But I just think this is really cool, because it like shows like maybe it's, you can view it as like symbolic of the influence and the popularity of the series. You know, these characters, they slowly begin to like leave the page or leave the border after a while. You know, it's no longer just, oh, it's a manga. It's because One Piece is like a cultural phenomenon at this point, especially in Japan. Most popular series all over, you know, in manga series all over the world. But in terms of Japan, it's insane. So I just found that funny. Now, the first volume itself, it's nothing really special. If I did not know anything about One Piece and I was just looking in a bookstore, like looking at manga to read, I can't say there's anything, you know, particular about this cover that would, like, it's like, wow, that looks really interesting. I need to pick that up. You just have Luffy and Nami and Zoro just chilling out on a boat, and they're just sailing, and that's it. But I like this cover. It's like rather like the humble beginnings of One Piece, you know. That's really in essence what the story is about. You know, just a group of friends sailing around the ocean, having a good old time, you know. So that's the first volume. I just felt like I had to bring that up. So, this is probably my favorite volume cover of the early series. All right, from like the first, like all the way up until like Alabasta. This is one of my favorites. Okay, once again, you got the border. But this is the first volume that is predominantly black, and all the other ones are like super colorful back in this era. You know, we have volume 4 here, which is purple, 2 is green, 5 is white, 9 is green, 8 is yellow. But then we have this one, and it's just a black cover, kind of a grainy sort of black, and then you have the Straw Hats all chilling out on a staircase together, also all wearing black, looking very fancy, looking very sleek and suave. And Sanji's not even present yet. I don't think Sanji's in the story. No, this is the volume where Sanji gets introduced, but he didn't join the crew yet. So yeah, but Sanji would fit perfectly well there. You could put him like on the stairs just smoking a cigarette, and I guess you got a black cat there too. So Yoruichi makes a cameo in this. But that's one of the ones I love, and just this always struck me early on in the series. What else? We have, okay, these are cool ones, all right? This is volume 22 and 21. This is the only time Oda has ever done this, but I love it. I love it when comic books or books of any kind do this kind of stuff, where you can take multiple covers together and they make a picture, you know, like in different sections, kind of like how I have this Alucard poster back here that's 8 separate posters put together to make Alucard. I love this. So this is volume 21, 22, and if you put them together, ka-chink, you got the Straw Hats facing off against Baroque Works. And they actually, later on in the anime, during Impel Down, they animated this. They took these two Tankobon covers and they put them together in the anime when Ivankov is talking to Bon Clay. Ivankov is like, oh, back in Alabasta, you and Straw Boy had a bit of a scuffle, but now look at you here, you know, best friends fighting for each other in the pits of hell. And they showed this scene here. And I just love that. That's the only time Oda's ever done this. But you could see it, like, it could work so well. This could have worked for Dressrosa, have the Straw Hats on one page, have, you know, the Doflamingo family on another page. You could do this, like, once an arc. You know, I would have loved that if each arc, and even Dressrosa has, like, the most volumes, because it's the longest arc in One Piece, as of right now. Wano might be longer. But, yeah, I love that idea there. So, yeah, anytime a series. Usually it's with the spines of books. I think Dragon Ball did that as well with the Tankobons of Dragon Ball. If you put them together, the original ones, if you put them all together, they'll make a picture. Because Dragon Ball has obviously been released a bunch of times. So this is volume 14. This is a pretty good one. I just like it because of the depiction of Galdino, and I guess Marianne is her real name. We just found it out. But Mr. 3 and Miss Golden Week in the background, they're colored green, and they're just kind of looming in the background. Well, we have Vivi and Luffy and Karu in the foreground there. And you could see, like, Oda started doing this early when some of them start to, they're literally stepping out of the border. But it isn't until actually in the 40s when you actually start to see a volume cover taking up, there's no border whatsoever. It's just taking up the entire thing. And by the way, something else is, these borders still continue till now. if you look at even one of the more recent volume covers, like there's so much stuff going on with the volume covers right now, you might not even notice it. But a good example of it is we got this one right here with Big Mom. This is volume 87, and it has all the the Charlotte family on it. But if you look way in the background, you can still see that border sticking out there, but it's not even like relevant anymore. It's like, why even have a border at this point? You know, it's I wonder if Oda actually draws anything on the border itself, because it looks like just a bunch of pink clouds. I wonder if he drew an actual picture there and then just layered Big Mom, Zeus, Prometheus, and then her family right there, and that's just how he did it. I don't know, but you look in the background, the border, it's not always there, but it's still peeking out every now and then. Okay, so that's volume 14 I wanted to focus on. Volume 20 is cool, just because it doesn't make any sense. Alright, so volume 20, this is the height of the Alabasta arc, guys. We got a lot of heavy players in Alabasta, okay? So, I'm going to cover this up just to surprise you. Okay, so we got Luffy, we got Smoker, we got Crocodile. Over here, we got Koza, the leader of the Revolutionary, and then down here, we have Cobra. All right, so see, these are the 5 like heavy hitters of Alabasta, man. They're all standing like a pentagram, like a star, like they're standing at each other right in the eyes, and then right in the middle, Karu. So I don't know what that implies. Does that imply Karu is like the true mastermind behind Alabasta? Like he's the duck. You know, it turns out at the very end of the arc, after Luffy and the crew left and everything, you cut to Karu smoking a cigar in like the ruins of rain dinners, and he's like, quack. They don't know I was the one that truly had the poneglyph this whole time, or I had the ancient weapon Pluton under my bill the entire time. Yeah, I don't know. I just find that funny. You got all these serious characters staring each other down, then you got Karu right in the center. That's awesome. All right, what's next? Okay, this one I just love because, well, this actually also starts a trend of Oda segmenting up the border. So you got like 6 different borders in the background showcasing each of the Straw Hats as they're defeating their enemies. So you got Usopp with the giant hand, the 10-ton hammer or whatever. I think we were only at 5 tons right now. We weren't up to 10 tons yet. That was against Perona. But we got, Usopp standing there with the hammer, Chopper. We got Nami defeating Mrs. Doublefinger, and we got Zoro after slicing down Mr. One. And then we just have Vivi standing in the middle with a shirt that I don't think she ever wears in the series, but the shirt has Chopper's emblem on it. And I don't know why. Like, Vivi and Chopper, they had Chopper's an adorable little reindeer, of course. Every female character in the series loves Chopper, right? Even Big Mom was kind of coming on to Chopper a little bit, But it's just a weird thing, but it works. I like it. I like the color. I like the expression on Vivi's face after the whole... This is the last volume of the Alabasta arc. Everything is cleaned up. It's good. Crocodile's defeated. Alabasta's back. Vivi's the princess again. And you just have her wearing that shirt. But also, you really get to see, like, how the waists work in the One Piece world. Like, that is insanity. Like, this woman does not have, like... She had to get her kidneys removed or something to make that work. Like, both of them, and, like, take out her liver to make that anatomically possible. But I like the design of the shirt. Okay, so, skipping a little bit to volume 44. Skypiea had a few good ones, but none of my, like, favorites. My favorite one from Skypiea is actually over here, and it's Luffy and Eneru. And this is cool because it has the border again, but it's a really kind of ornate border. And it has the giant, like, circle in the background and the flowers, the lotus flowers and stuff. And then Eneru's standing there, and then Luffy's just like, ah, right in front of him. So I like that one, but it's not one of my absolute favorites. This is one of my absolute favorites. This is volume 44. And going back through all of these, I'm pretty damn sure this is the first volume where there is no border, and Oda just, the entire book is the artwork. We have the entire thing. We got a giant battleship back here for the Buster Call, and we got Robin hanging out in the center there. Yeah, you know what you're looking at. But on the other side, you got Luffy Gear second, and then Rob Lucci all battle damaged and bleeding in his half leopard form, and they're attacking each other. But then you just got Robin in the center, and looking. I love it when she wore that leather jacket. I wish she would go back to the full leather. That was pretty cool. But yeah, this is actually... I actually have I have two volumes of this. I actually own this book twice because back when I was like buying One Piece by individual volume, I bought this one, like one of the first ones I bought for obvious reasons. And also later on, I got these, which are these two sets of One Piece. This is the entirety of the East Blue, and this is Skypiea to Enies Lobby here, all the way. I think the last volume, the first volume of Thriller Bark ends this one out, and so I bought those. And I'm gonna get a few duplicates because there's a few that I already own, but I figured it would be more efficient at the end of the day just to get the box sets. So I own like two of these. Also the Baroque works. I own like a bunch of different versions of the Baroque works as well. Okay, this is a good one. So this is one of the ones where I can only see two characters on there. There might be a few others, but Oda likes to keep a lot of his, like, there's a bunch of characters on each one of these, but this one is pretty cool. It's just Luffy and Oars. And I love it just because Oars is taking up the majority of it, and then it's just Luffy just yelling in the middle. That is a powerful cover. This is a cover. If I were to see this in the bookstore and I had no idea what One Piece about, I would buy this. And the Robin one too, for obvious reasons. But this, less so on the butt, more on just the epic. Because I'd be one of like, okay, what's going on here? Giant demon, giant dude. You know, he's got bones sticking out. Like, what is going on here? It's powerful. Like, you could feel the scream coming off of it, you know? So, I love that one. Volume 51. Okay. These are the supernovas. Pretty basic, just another group shot, but I had to include that in there because the supernovas are, of course, like, when we're getting into the new world, they're like, you know, some of the main cast, depending on the arc. Like, Beige is a main character in Totland, and then, of course, Hawkins and Kid, and haven't seen much of Apu yet, but he's going to be integral in Wano, also Drake. And so this is where it started with the Sab Odi, where Oda decided, you know, yeah, we're going to introduce, you know, Luffy and Zoro, or they were already, you know, introduced at that point, obviously. It's volume 51, but we have 9 other characters that we really haven't referenced at all, haven't seen at all. They're just here now, and get used to them because they're going to be very relevant later on. So keep in mind. Basically, 51 volumes in, and we finally get introduced, like, yeah, these are Luffy's, like, rivals. Yeah, these are the other people that might have a solid chance at becoming King of the Pirates. 51 volumes in. Way to go, Oda. That's great. I love it. A lot of build-up. All right, this is another contender for one of my favorites. All right, just all of the stuff that's going on with this one. This is volume 53. This is Amazon Lily. All right, look at this. This is beautiful. You got a rainbow. You got a green background. Rainbow in the very far background, behind even the logo. Then you got the Boa siblings in the center, and then you got Luffy here walking on rainbow snakes with Ace's Viva card guiding him toward Impel Down, which will follow up in the next volume. This is, and also Bakura is there too, the Panther. This is breathtaking. I love this. Like, not even getting boobs involved. I know you're gonna like, well, you know, also boobs. Yeah, boobs are a positive. Boobs are always a positive, but this is great. It's so colorful, and it just pops. This is another one, like, if I were to see this in the store, not even knowing about One Piece, I would buy this. I would probably get this. This is great. I love that. Okay. So, there's a few left here. So this is let me take this down. We're starting to stock up on books here. Oh, man, there's so many good ones. I want you to comment below what your favorite ones are. But, yeah, I mean, there's so many really good ones here. Okay, so this is volume 57. This is an example of, you know, just like, I don't even need to really, you know... That's all you need. You don't even need to talk about it. Just, boom! Whitebeard, war begins, Marineford, Yonko, here he is, front and center. You got Whitebeard, and you also have, it looks like he has giant horns coming out of his head if you actually look at it at a certain angle. It looks like a Valar Pizarro's, like, long-lost grandfather or whatever, but no, that's his Jolly Roger in the very far background. Then you got Luffy, then you got all the other members of his crew, but all his other members are tinted blue. And are in, like, the lower the portion here, covered up by, like, the logo and the number and everything in the author name. But, you know, you have Whitebeard there, and that's all you need. Just like, boom, he's here, the man has finally arrived. You understand, this was the first Yonko that we really saw in battle. Like, we saw Shanks up to that point. Shanks clashed with Whitebeard, Shanks, you know, in Higama back at Fuchsia Village. But, you know, this was the first time we saw, no, this is a Yonko. And this is how they fight. we're going to see that for the first time. And it's this huge war where the Marines bring out all the stops for just one of these Yonko. So that's all you need. Very powerful cover. We got 3 left here I wanted to go over. This one's also from the war. By the way, while we're on the subject of this, what is your favorite interpretation of the war at Marineford? Because here it's called the Paramount War. There's also Marineford. There's also the War of the Best. This arc has had like 3 or 4 different names. What is your favorite interpretation of it? I guess is the question. I kind of like Paramount War because it's not like it gets the point across, but it's a little different. It's not just like War of the Strongest, War of the Best. I mean, that's a great title, but Paramount, that's a different way of saying it. It's a little bit more unique. I like Paramount War, but I think most people, when they talk about it, they just say Marineford or the Marineford arc, yeah. But this one's great. Going back to the segmented panels, and we got Akainu, Kizaru, and Aokiji there, and then that's divided by Luffy's giant piece of wood, and then we have Garp, Sangoku, and Luffy at the bottom. That's great. You just got you could have removed Garp and Sangoku and just had it like Luffy at the very far bottom and then just like Kizaru, Akainu, Aokiji, because you need a cover that has all the admirals on it. But this works splendidly as well. Garp and Sangoku, they did stuff during Marineford, of course they did. Like Garp had that tearful moment with Luffy, and then Sangoku had his Buddha form. But we definitely got to see more of the 3 admirals than we got to see Garp and Sangoku in that arc. So next up is Volume 61, which is the first volume after the time skip. And as a parallel to Volume 1, presto, I'm psychic. I knew exactly where it was this whole time. So Volume 1 again, just Luffy, Zoro, Nami. And then Volume 61. With the entire crew added, with Zoro. Keep in mind, Zoro and Nami and Luffy are still roughly in the same position. Of course, all the other Straw Hats have to be added in, so you got Usopp chilling out down there with Zoro, and you got Sanji, Frankie off to the side, and the border, it seems, has been expanded here just to stretch like across the entire page rather than just being a square. But yeah, of course, I'm sure Oda was going through a lot of nostalgia. I was as well. If you were reading One Piece during the time skip, when it was on hiatus for a solid month or so, and then after it came back, there was a lot of nostalgia with the Return to Sabaody arc, with references to the very, very beginning of the series. I think there was a chapter called Romance Dawn for the New World, which, of course, Romance Dawn, that's the first. And actually, if you do get these box sets, which I recommend, the first box set gives you Romance Dawn, the pilot chapter, and the second one here gives you The Strong World, chapter 0. So the last one I wanted to bring up here, there's a lot of really good ones from Dressrosa and Totland, but probably my favorite is this one. Because this is one of the ones that really just kind of breaks the fourth wall, where you still have the border in the background, and you got Beige, and you got Chiffon and Pudding and everybody, and then Luffy just runs in and shatters it like a mirror. So that's pretty powerful. And also Carrot is on here twice, so I gotta go with it. Got Carrot there, and then Carrot right there is in the Sulong form, so that's cool. I just love this. And if I had Volume 89, which isn't out yet, but if I had Volume 89, that would be featured as well. I'll throw it up here with Luffy and Katakuri fighting in the mirror world. But yeah, this is when the fight, starts in pretty. I think actually it started in the volume before this, but this is where it gets serious, where Luffy starts fighting with Katakuri. So of course you got to have like the mirror references. But yeah, that's a pretty powerful one too. And of course the Wano one I would have included as well. But Wano is not out yet in America. It just got released in Japan, a few months ago. So yeah, that's a lot of volumes. There was an interview with Oda when he was, I think you probably all saw it. It was the one where he was in his house and we were getting a look at where he lives and his workspace and everything. And Oda said, One Piece is going to go a little longer than 100 chapters. I think because the question was, is One Piece going to end at 100 chapters? And Oda's like, no, it's going to go a little bit beyond that. Now, a few things. People thought, like, when he says a little bit after 100 chapters, because we're already at volume, 91 coming out here. So it's like, whoa, this is... Now, even so, 9 volumes, that's still, over a year. Easy. But he's like, whoa, that seems rather brief. I don't think when he said over 100, I don't think he meant, volume 101 or 102. You have to look at it from the perspective of, out of 100, a little bit after that. So, I don't know, volume 120? I think that would be a good thing. And also, don't ever take Oda's word or even his editor's word when it comes to like One Piece is 65% done or it's 2/3 done or anything like that. Because I feel like with Oda, whenever he's writing and drawing his series, if he gets to a point where he feels like it should be longer, he's going to add some stuff to it. And at this point, considering how much money this damn thing makes, I'm sure that I think the editors at Shueisha would give him a little bit more leeway with stuff. Like, you know how like during the end of Bleach, Kubo was like, kind of rushed, where it was like, yeah, you got to wrap this up pretty quickly. He didn't have a lot of time to draw as much stuff as he wanted. With One Piece, I think it's pretty much just like, you take as much time as you want, Oda. You make the arc go as long as you want, because it's just like at this point, like I think the man knows what he's doing, considering. So if he gets to a point in the series where he's like, I was originally going to make Kinemon's fight at Wano only one chapter, but after thinking about his character a little bit, I think I'm going to make it 3 chapters, or I'm going to add a little bit more to Kinemon's backstory than I thought I was originally going to, and then so he does it. So I take it as a ballpark estimate, like when he says One Piece is like 70% done, that doesn't mean like, oh, well, that means we're only 30%. That's ridiculous. But it's like, you got to take this kind of stuff with a grain of salt, So when he says, oh, yeah, it's going to be a little over 100 volumes, when he says that, I take that to mean anywhere from 110 volumes to 140 volumes. Like, that's the way I view that. I don't think it'll be that quite as long, but you got to figure all the stuff in the series we've left to see. I don't think it's going to be like volume 102. That'll be the end. Like that'll just going to be silly. But yeah, that's the video. I apologize if I'm not as energetic as I normally am. So I'll tell you the story really quick. Let me ask you guys a question. Have you ever lost your keys? And I don't mean have you lost your keys like you misplaced them, like, oh, I thought I set them down here, and then you turn around and like, oh, I left them there, or oh, I left them in my jacket pocket. All right, found them, no problem. No, I lost these keys for almost 48 hours. All right, so this story begins Saturday. It's Tuesday today. All right, Saturday. We get this storm up here in the Northeast. It's like it's an ice storm and also snow and a bunch of shit. Living in the Northeast, it's always fun. I'm used to this. It happens once a year. So I don't go anywhere Saturday. I stay inside. Saturday night, it starts snowing pretty bad. Sunday, all day, pretty much, it's snowing, it's ice, it's just crap. It eventually stops in the middle of Sunday. I go outside Sunday night because my car was just entombed in ice, just like solid ice, covered, and so I start trying to chisel out my car, and I start, running the defroster and everything like that. And you have to understand, like, the way that this worked was it was basically a layer of snow and then a layer of ice on top of that, and when the snow plows come down the street, they're plowing all of the snow from the road into your yard and the driveway and everything, and that's huge blocks of ice. Like, so much so that these blocks of ice can be used as a weapon. You could take these up, and they're super heavy, just solid blocks of ice, like this big, and you could use them as a straight-up weapon, My mom and myself were joking about that today. So, Sunday night, I go out to try to defrost my car, and then after that, I try to help my mom. We're shoveling out the driveway, and it's to the point where you can't even use, like, a regular, like, snow shovel. You have to use, like, a metal spade in order to crack this ice. So we're out there for like an hour just digging out the driveway so she can get out of the driveway and she can go to work on Monday. And so I lose my keys at one point here, and I go back in and I oh crap, my keys, and I check all the places they're supposed to be, can't find them anywhere. I look all night, and then Monday I look everywhere. I tear this house apart. You know how, like, you get to a point where you start becoming paranoid of everything. Like, are they in the sock drawer? Are they in the dishwasher? Like, every single room. Every room. I'm on the floor looking under everything, every object, every room in our house, even the rooms I haven't been in, like, I know they can't be. Like, they're not in the cellar. I know that, but I look anyway. And I do that all day. And on top of that, I also think, they might be buried in the snow. I might have dropped them in the snow. So imagine this. I'm outside yesterday at least 6 or 7 times in like 2-degree temperatures because it's super bitter cold. And I have a metal rake and a metal spade, and I'm just digging like just through these layers of ice, and I have no idea where they are. It could be anywhere. Driveway, the entirety of the driveway, the front sidewalk, the sidewalk along the side of our house, the back porch, around my car. They could be anywhere. It's just like this huge, like, have fun, needle in a haystack. And I'm out there, and it's super cold. Sure enough, I wake up this morning sick. I have a cold. My whole body just aches. Still haven't found them yet. So I decide, like, the only place I haven't checked is my car. And my car is locked, obviously. So I call my insurance company. They send a mechanic, a locksmith out. And I'm not even shitting you. I'm not even shitting you. I go outside to wait for the mechanic. And I find my keys in the snow, buried. This little I think it's called a monkey knot. My uncle Pete made this for me. This little tiny thing is sticking out of the ice, just barely. I grab them, I pull them out. 1 minute later, literally, the mechanic shows up. So I finally, like, I'm so happy I found my keys, and I'm like, I could go. I just wanted, you know what I wanted? I just wanted to go to Subway and get a sub. That's all I wanted. I wanted to go into town, into Subway, and just get a seafood sensation sub. Now listen, you can maybe talk crap about Subway, like Subway sucks, or their seafood sucks, or you're gonna get whatever. I don't care. I just wanted a sub, man. I couldn't even drive for like 2 days. I just wanted a sub. So I get my keys back. I thank the mechanic. He leaves. I'm so happy. I get in my car. I start my car. I back up, and there was a sheet of ice on the side of the road. I thought I could get over it. My car got stuck in the ice. I'm backing up. I'm like, I'm doing this. Boom! We all have limits in our lives where we crack. I cried. I straight up, I couldn't, like, that was, I'm not even ashamed to admit that. I don't even care. After all the crap I went through, I went back in the house, and I think my mom could tell I was like 1 step shy of having a panic attack, and she was just like, it's okay. I'm not mad. Let's just go and dig your car out. I'm like, okay, let's do that. And we went out, and we tried to dig it out. One of our neighbors, a guy by the name of Brian, he's a mechanic as well, and he just happened to be driving by, and he had like not a chain, but he had like one of those. It was like a piece of cloth, not a cloth, but rope sort of thing. It goes under the tire, and you can pull the car. He had one of those. And he had a truck, so he got us out there. And we thanked him, and we're going to get him a gift package for that, like a thank you gift package for that. My mom's going to make some fudge for him, because that guy was great. Luckily, no damage to the car, because I'm sitting there worried, like I bent the axle, or because I got crammed under the ice, like something got ripped. Because I drove over a stone divider once, and I cracked my oil pan right in half, and I was worried that happened again. And I'm like, I ripped something out. But no, the car's fine. Car runs fine. But that was like the crack moment. That was like, everyone has that moment where it's like they just break. It is like, I can't anymore. It's over, right? I'm sick. I'm just tired of finding keys, and now this happens. So yeah, but I got my sub. I got 2 subs actually. I went to Subway. I got my sub. I went home. I ate. I crashed for like 3 hours. I just passed out. I'm just like, and then I woke up, and I'm like, I need to do a video. I need to do something. That's usually, I calm down when I make video. I need to do that. So here we are. Yeah, that went on for longer than I wanted to. I'm sorry about that. I didn't expect that to be as long as it was. But that's why I included it at the end and not at the beginning. But yeah, thanks for watching, I guess. It's cool. Everything's good now. Everything's fine. We got chiseled out, and there's no more bad weather coming up. I just need to relax and just get better, and everything's good. Reverie's tomorrow, so that's hype for that. But we all have bad days. It happens. Gotta stay positive. Have a good night, guys.